So my name is Sergeant Brian Nagata. I've been with the department almost 8 years. My primary responsibility, I'm a patrol supervisor, but I have a lot of ancillary duties. This is one of them. So I teach a lot, especially during new school stuff and whatnot. So we're going to talk about active shooter awareness and response today. All right? Not just what can be done on campus. What you're going to learn today, okay, you can use it off campus as well. Okay, not just what is going on. Not just what you're, not just here. Okay, the concept we're going to show you today is a plan, right? It can be used anywhere. So even if you're not here on campus, let's say you're shopping, grocery shopping or whatever, okay, you can use what we're going to show you today. Out there as well, because you never know, right? Just because we live in Hawaii doesn't mean we're out of touch with this kind of stuff. Okay, it's for me. A lot of us, we think that, even on campus, it's just a matter of when. Okay? You got to understand, right? University is the university community. This environment that you join, it's safe, okay? But we do allow for free thought, right? Everybody has their to discuss, discuss things, right? And there's always going to be somebody who doesn't agree with you. Okay? Generally, it's a cordial, discussion, but sometimes. Okay. So from 2000 to 2013, yeah, there were. So there were 163 active shooter incidents. Okay. This is a study done by the Department of Justice or the FBI, right? What we want to highlight here especially is that 69.8% of incidents ended in 5 minutes or less, with 36 ending in 2 minutes or less. There is no department in the world that's got that kind of response time. Okay? They got to be real close to the incident. Okay? For those of you who are local to us, there's a local students, okay? There was an incident at Joint Base Pearl Harbor a few months ago, yeah? There was a shooting there. Okay? That shooter, from the first shot that shooter took to the last shot where he took his own life, that incident lasted 30 seconds. Okay? There is definitely no department in the world that's got a response time of 30 seconds, unless they're standing right outside the door. Okay? So, you need to have a plan for yourselves in case somebody shot. Everybody wants to rely on us. Everybody wants to rely on the first responders. But in the initial moment of an active shooter, those first few minutes, you guys are going to be on your own. Because it's going to take somebody to pick up their phone and call 911 and say, hey, this is happening, where it's happening at. So you have to make decisions on your own to try to protect your own life and survive something like this. Okay? Most incidents, 60% ended prior to police intervention, and 12 incidents ended after unarmed citizens safely and successfully restrained the shooter. So active shooting incidents are on the rise. Okay, there is no plateauing, there is no decline, it's continuing to increase. Okay. Some incidents, because we live in Hawaii, some things happen on the mainland, and we don't even realize it's happening on the mainland. It doesn't make our local news. Right? There's just not enough, there's just too much other stuff going on, so they leave it off. Right? But if you follow national news, sometimes you'll see things going on, right, that you don't see on local news. Or if it doesn't come across your feeds and whatever, right? So we're going to talk about various shooting situations. We're going to talk about measures that can be taken to reduce the likelihood of victimization. And not going to make you bulletproof, but what we're going to do is give you an idea, give you a plan. And that's the main thing. Having a plan should something happen, so you can rely on that plan. Okay? Describe actions that are being expected from responding law enforcement as well as first responders, and talk about other types of threats. So July 20th, 2012, Century 60 Movie Theater, during the Dark Knight Rises screening, they had an incident. A suspect enters the theater. Okay. Approximately 30 minutes later, he exits out of a lower fire escape. Okay. When he comes into the theater, he does not have any weapons. He does not have anything. He doesn't look like someone who's about to do what he's going to do. Okay. But he exits out of the fire escape, and outside of that fire escape is where he pre-positions his car. And in his car is where he has all his weapons and whatnot. Okay? He re-enters the theater because he props the door open. He's able to do what he's done. And 12 people were killed, and another 70 were injured. We're going to show you 2 points of view here. Okay, the first is going to be security camera footage of the lobby. Okay? You're not going to see anybody getting shot or like that. And then you're going to also be able to hear police radio traffic during the incident. We'll talk about those two perspectives. So there is no sound to this first video. Okay. So the suspect enters, okay, and as he gets closer, you'll see what he looks like, how he's dressed. Right? Just, baggy clothes, nothing really stands out about him. Right? And you gotta think, these employees who are working here, they're what? High school kids, maybe young college kids like yourselves. Right? There's not really too much adults working. Right? He walks in. Okay, and the shooting is starting. So these workers, they're a little stuck, right? Their fight or flight is definitely kicking in. Okay? Everybody else is running away. These two young people are deciding what they want to do, right? Hide under the counter, right? And after he decides to run, and in a moment you'll see the young lady come out and off the counter and also run. Okay, so this will be police radar traffic. It's about 2 minutes worth of traffic. Okay, so there's two perspectives, right? The civilian side, which you see in the surveillance video, and the law enforcement first responder side. Okay, the two things they have in common is that they are both panicking. Okay, there is always going to be some level of panic to this. Okay, but the difference between the two is that the law enforcement first responder side, they're able to control that panic because they're trained, right? And they have a plan. And you guys can do that as well, because if you guys cannot control that level of panic, and just uncontrollably panicking, just, oh my God, right? Your ability to critically think is going to be severely impacted. And think, I said earlier, right, in these first few minutes, we're not going to be there. First responders are not going to be there to help you. You have to figure out what you're going to do, right? So your ability to critically think is going to be super crucial, okay? It also will affect your fine motor skills, okay? So if you have a plan and you're focused, right, and you're not uncontrollably panicking, your fine motor skills will be there, okay? this movement, right? So if you're trying to use your phone, it might become very difficult if you're just panicking uncontrollably, right? So having a plan of what you could, what you are going to do, or at least an idea in case something should happen, again, whether on campus or off campus, will help you guys make good decisions in the moment. Okay? So there's active shooter, hostage situation, and barricaded suspect. An active shooter is defined by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. It's an individual actively engaged in killing or attempting to kill people in a confined and populated area. In most cases, active shooters use firearms, and there's no pattern or method in the selection of victims. Okay? There are instances where we do see targeting. Okay? A lot of times we see targeting when it's a workplace violence issue, right? Disgruntled employee, okay? Or maybe it could be a disgruntled student, right? Didn't do so well in class, or is not doing well overall, and is coming back to target the professor or the instructor. Because throughout the semester, you know where your instructor is going to be for that given day, right? And this class meets Monday, Wednesday, Friday from now to 2 o'clock. You know where we're going to be, right? The active shooter, the threat is not contained. There's often a risk of immediate death or injury. There is little or no time for proper planning and requires law enforcement to take immediate action. Okay, so Columbine, I don't think anybody here is old enough to remember Columbine, but Columbine, okay, that was like that first and recent memory. That was an active shooter incident. But back then, the term active shooter wasn't a thing. Okay. But when Columbine happened, back then, the response to this kind of situation was to surround the school or the location, try to contain it as best as possible, okay? Call for SWAT and wait, okay? But that call time that they call for SWAT and actually SWAT getting on scene, the special weapons and active folks, okay? And getting on scene, it's very long. And what we saw in Columbine is it allowed the 2 suspects to go through the school a lot more slowly and a lot more, for a lot longer time and find more victims. Okay, so that's why now, if this kind of thing jumps off, the first officers on scene will form small teams and rush into the building and will look for the threat and try to address the threat, right? And they're not going to wait any longer, right? And then sometimes when officers arrive on scene, things start to slow down. That shooter stops shooting and it develops into a hostage situation or even a barricaded suspect. So a situation and barricaded suspect, okay? Just like you see on TV or in movies, right? If I'm the suspect, I take all you guys, I barricade the door, you're not getting out, okay? Alright, barricaded suspect is just me in this classroom, and you guys all flee. Alright, let you guys go, right? Okay? There is time for this, okay? So that's why these incidents take a very long time to come to an end, okay? If that suspect isn't actively shooting anybody or doing anything aggressive, law enforcement is not going to push the issue. We're going to wait. They're going to wait. Right? The negotiators will come out. Right? What will probably happen, like say it happens here, what they will probably do is shut down the air conditioning or shut the power down to the building. Okay? Make this place very uncomfortable. They're forcing the suspect to reach out and get help or get water or whatever, and negotiations start. Right? The photo that we have up here is from January 2020, the Diamond Head shooting. Okay, that incident started, it didn't start with shots fired. Okay, it started as a stabbing. Okay, initial officers arrived on scene. The lady was on the road, Diamond Head Road, and she had a stab wound to her leg. She was stabbed like a pitchfork-like object. Okay, officers formed a small team. I think it was 3 officers initially. They walked down the driveway, and at that moment they were walking down. The suspect fired one shot, striking the female officer in the chest. Okay, probably hit her right above her vest. Okay, so she was gone, probably pushing to the ground. Okay, or soon after. All right, another team went in trying to rescue that downed officer. Another officer was fatally struck. Okay, I understand that officer who was hit. I mean, he eventually passed away, but he was able to return fire as well. Okay. And then the suspect set the block on fire and did what he did. But it went from a stabbing to an active shooter to then a hostage situation and then a fire call. Okay, so it could progress. Right. So if you hear gunfire, try to stay calm, try to panic. A lot of times people ask me, hey, Sergeant Brian, how do I know it's gunfire? okay? It's not fireworks, firecrackers, okay? If you're in school, okay, and you hear what sounds like firecrackers, that's not, those two things don't really go together, right? Or if you're grocery shopping and you hear firecrackers, that grocery shopping and firecrackers don't really go together, right? The context that you're in, that you find yourself in that moment, okay? If you live next to a gun range, a shooting range, you hear gunshots all the time, so it's not out of the ordinary, right? But if you think it's gunfire, we gotta go with it, okay? Because if you don't, and you play it off as, firecrackers, you could unknowingly walk further into a location or you become a victim, right? There's an incident at the Naval Shipyard years ago, so the mainland shipyard in Washington, D.C. It came out as an active shooter call. Okay, so everybody responded, right? Turns out, they could not determine if there was, they determined that there was no shooting at all. So they don't know what that initial caller heard, okay, but she did the absolute right thing. She called it in. Because had she played it off as, that's not, who knows? It could have been a legit call, right? And that law enforcement, those first responders are behind the ball on this, so they have to catch that, right? So you hear something that sounds like gunfire, let's just go with it, okay? You have to quickly determine the most reasonable way to protect your own life. Again, I'm not going to be there for you in those moments. Other first responders, we're not going to be there for you in those first few minutes, first few moments of this situation. Okay, because somebody got to call 911. Somebody got to call. Right? If nobody calls for how long, however many minutes, we're not going to know what's going on. Okay? We don't have the island of Oahu doesn't have shot spotter. So somebody from the mainland, some of the places where you live on the mainland, they do have some technology called shot spotter. It's basically microphones all over the city, they pick up gunfire, right? But we don't have that. Okay? So once it's safe to do so, and when you're able, pick up your phone and call 911. A lot of times when we have these incidents, or we take a look at the after action, and we interview, law enforcement interviews people, right, in the thing, right? They'll tell the detective or the investigator, you know, I called 911, but I could never get through. I could never get through. So they look at the call log, they open up the person's cell phone, right, and look at the call, the recent history. There was never a call to 911. No call was actually placed. But they swear up and down, no, I called 911. What they forgot to do was hit the green button to send the call. Okay. Think about how you guys call each other. Well, if you guys do ever call, right? You guys go through your contacts, you find the person, you hit the number, and it automatically connects. Right? How many of you guys actually put in the 10-digit phone number? Not so often, maybe two, not very often, right? So if you guys don't do it on the routine, right? You guys aren't in the habit of using the green button. When it's fight or flight and you're all in this kind of situation, you may forget. You may not even realize you haven't hit the green button because that's not something you do ordinarily. Right? Other students, you know, they may, maybe you start to get campus jobs, right? And you're working in an office, you know, and something happens. People in the office may ask you, hey, what are we going to do? Okay. That plan that we have here at the university and other universities all around the world, around the country and the world, and other private sector entities, we use run. We use run, hide, fight.
Active shooter events can occur anywhere at any time, and frequently involve individuals attempting to kill others indiscriminately. These events are unpredictable and can evolve quickly. For this reason, whenever you enter a building as an employee, guest, or customer, you must be prepared and know what it is you will do if faced with the worst case scenario, even if it's just another day at the office.
Last night, every time I closed my eyes, all I could see was slide decks.
That would remind me. Sorry I'm late. Did I miss anything?
Hey, you got a minute to catch me up on that thing?
Yeah, come on in. Is Amelia here too?
Let me, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
When startled by a gunshot, it's a natural human reaction to freeze. Unfortunately, this response leaves you vulnerable to what might come next. If you see someone frozen in place in this type of situation, make your best attempt to assist them.
I think it's critical that we find a way to make sure this doesn't happen again. We've wasted way too much time.
That's gunfire.
Are you sure that was a gunshot?
That's gunfire.
Everything's gunshot. Call police.
If you can't easily evacuate, the best option is to hide. Lock the door, stay close to the ground, and try to find cover from any stray gunfire that may penetrate the walls. If you're able, call 911.
What was that?
Sounds like a gunshot. What should we do?
Come on, let's get out of here.
When possible, the best alternative in an active shooter event is to run. If your path is clear and you can safely reach an exit, evacuate as soon as possible. Of course, some may not have such easy access to a safe exit. In these situations, you must decide for yourself whether it is best to evacuate or to hide. As with any of these options, if you do choose to run, commit to this action. And remember, police will be arriving to assist you and to evacuate the wounded, so be sure to keep your hands up and empty as you clear the building. Otherwise, put simply, don't stop running. Once clear of danger, make contact with 911 to assist their response by providing them information about the shooter, the weapons they're carrying, and the amount of wounded that may still need medical assistance. If you have been unable to evacuate and are trapped in the facility during an active shooter situation, remember, making the decision to hide does not prevent you from putting up a fight later. If you are confronted by the active shooter, you have to assume that your actions are all that stand between yourself, your colleagues, and grave harm. Fight for your life. Search around you for sharp or heavy objects that you may use to disable the attacker. Collaborate with those around you to ensure you aren't acting alone. You're taking action for your survival, so do not hold back, and do not stop fighting until you know beyond certainty that you are safe. Committing to run, to hide, or to fight will keep you safer than if you freeze during a crisis. Remember to prioritize your safety. If you come across those who are wounded and may need assistance, assist them if you can, but do not let them inhibit your escape. As an individual, the most important thing you can do to keep yourself safe, whether it is to run, hide, or to fight, is to commit to your decision and to continuously reevaluate the situation. If you own a business or operate a large public facility, you may be able to better enable individual response to such events by identifying emergency escape routes and exits. Use this information to design evacuation plans that can be used by employees and guests to your facility. Reach out to law enforcement to see if they'll come to your facility and assist you in drafting your response plan or guide you to training that may assist employees in their survival. Remember, this training may be the difference between life or death. See about technology you may be able to incorporate to make your facility safer, which may include audio or visual cues for those with access and functional needs. Plan for and train your employees to assist those who may not be able to run, hide, or fight. Equip them with a first aid or a go kit, an emergency ladder in case you're not on the first story, and explore the possibility of mass notification technologies, which may enable you to alert those in the area of any present dangers. Of course, the hope is that neither you nor any of your friends or colleagues will ever be confronted with an active shooter situation. However, should the worst case occur, know that you can always run, hide, or fight. For more information and resources in active shooter preparedness and response, please visit dhs.gov/active-shooter-preparedness, including DHS's new Active Shooter Preparedness Virtual Learning Center, a feature-length video sponsored by the Department of Homeland Security that can teach you how to mitigate, respond to, and better react if confronted with an active shooter event.
Okay, so it's run, hide, fight, right? But you might not have the option to run. You may already have to be in the hide or worse confronting the shooter. But the first thing we want to do is we want to try to get away from the area this is happening, right? Even if this is not an active, let's say this is a fire alarm activation, right? You gotta have another exit in mind, okay? You go to the grocery store, for example, you go grocery shopping at Foodland down the street, right? The fire alarm goes off or someone that needs to evacuate. Everybody is gonna go to that one point that everybody knows, that one main entry exit, okay? And that's gonna get jam-packed, all right? You can always use another exit. As you walk around, getting grocery shopping, picking up the produce or beverages for later tonight if you're of age, okay? Look at the exit signs. Look for exit signs. Look, these lighted exit signs, right, like this, okay? It's around. You just gotta look up, okay? How many of you live in the dorms or dorm in this semester? Okay. So in 2004, I was a freshman here. I lived in Longelani, okay? It still looks the same if you're wondering. Just new carpet, I think, okay? But you guys have you're supposed to have 2 fire alarms a semester, okay? And announced and unannounced. Okay, so the announcement goes on, okay? And I lived on the 10th floor, so it was pretty high up in the building. Everybody went to the center core of the building, in the middle staircase, right? And we walk down everybody else, right? So as we're going, the fire doors are being held open, the people are coming in, right? And so we get out, late, but a little delayed. So anyway, my roommate and I were talking after, and we both came to the realization that, hey, if that's a legit fire, we're not going to make it out. It's highly unlikely. We might not even make it out. Because fire, the flames don't kill you first. It's the smoke that overcomes you, okay? And if those doors are being held open, all the smoke would fill inside, and everybody's gonna panic, and we're gonna be even more in jeopardy, okay? However, where you guys trash chutes are on the balcony, there is another exit stairs, okay? Those balconies have another exit stairs, okay? So when the second alarm went off, we went that way. And we were out in no time, and we only saw like 4 other people in that stairwell, while everybody else was still trying to make their way to the middle. Okay, so always have a second route in mind, okay? Evacuate regardless if you want to hug, encourage them. Yes, come on, let's go. But if they don't want to come on, let's go, then leave them and get yourself to safety, okay? When you're outside, do your best, right? You want to try to make sure nobody else goes in or goes back into wherever this is happening, and try to call 911. Again, if nobody calls, we don't know. Okay? Alright, call. Alright, pick up your phone and call. You never know if you may be the very first person to tell us where exactly on campus or where exactly in the shopping center this is happening. Okay? We also want to follow instructions from first responders and whatnot. And we also want to resist the urge to pull the building's fire alarm as you exit. Okay? From small kid time to at least high school, you guys have done many, many, many fire drills. Right? So you're conditioned to basically hit the fire alarm goes off, right? You automatically assume it's fire. But nothing else enters your mind. Okay? However, there have been incidents, one in particular comes to mind, where the shooters used the fire alarm to their advantage. Okay, there was a middle school in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Okay, 2 suspects Okay, 2 kids, and when I say kids, I mean kids, they're like 12 or 13 years old. Okay, they went to that school. Okay? They set up in front of the school. One of the guys came down, pulled the school's fire alarm, ran back out, waited with the second suspect, and as the school was evacuating, they started to shoot into the crowd. Okay? It probably took school staff a couple, a minute or a little bit to realize what was happening, stop the evacuation, and push everybody back inside. Okay? So the fire alarm goes off, yes, you should evacuate, you have to evacuate. Okay? However, before you walk outside that door, take a look at the courtyard, take a look at wherever. Is there a lot of people down on the ground already? Right? That's unusual. Right? That's unusual. Or you hear what sounds like gunfire. Hey, maybe we don't walk out. Let's come back inside. Okay, you never know. Okay? Now the run phase, again, based on the information you have in the moment, okay, you determine that the run is not possible. Okay, you want to hide. Okay, ideally, it should be out of the shooter's view, provide you protection if shots are fired, and not trap or restrict your option for movement, so avoiding cabinets or other confining spaces. Okay? When you're in the space, we want to lock the door. Okay? This lecture hall, for example, yeah, we get plenty of windows, okay, but a lot of the doors have this device. Okay? All the doors here have this locking, this door return. Okay? All we want to do is restrict that device's movement. Okay, because when that door opens, the arm gets wider, right? And it closes automatically, right? So if you restrict that door arm's ability to open and close, it's not going to open. It's effectively locked. You don't have keys to anything on campus, right? Yes, you have keys to your dorm. For example, let's say it's happening in the dorms, right? You have key cards to get inside the building, right? Don't assume that the building is still secure. Okay? How many of you over this moving period yesterday when you guys are moving in chaos just held the front door open for people coming in? Right? I'm sure everybody that did that yesterday. Okay? But you don't know if they actually live there. Right? And it's gonna continue to happen and all semester long. It's a thing. It happens. Right? So just because you have a key card to something to get to your building or where you work or wherever, don't assume that building is secure during an incident like this. Because all they gotta do is injure or worse, kill somebody that has a card that has all access or whatever, and they're in the building. Okay? So when you get into your space, you want to lock it secure. So you want to barricade the doors. Okay? Restrict the movement. Silence your cell phone. How many of your cell phones vibrate right now even if it's on silent? Okay? Do you know how to get to your settings in a quick when it's needed? Okay. Now, again, your fine motor skills, right? So using your thumbs or your finger to put in the codes and whatnot to unlock your phone could be a challenge. Okay. Or if you have facial recognition in your phone, and for whatever reason your phone isn't recognizing your face, and you get all panicked, and now you're doing this, you're just fiddling, you can't unlock your phone, right? It's useless now. Right, but you can't continue on to the volume on, right? But how many of us, myself included, how many of you guys put that settings menu on like the third screen back in a folder within a folder? Right? Okay? Can you remember how to get to there? So turn off that vibrate feature. Okay? Even if you're barricaded inside in a little hiding spot, it may not be the lecture hall. Maybe there's a room between these two rooms. It's the lab prep area. Maybe you go to here. But wherever you are, we still want to get a phone call out if possible. Okay? Because again, you don't know what's happening on the outside of this space or wherever you're at. Okay? We want to get a phone call out so we can alert people what's going on. And if you're worried about somebody listening or hearing you talk, you don't have to say anything. You just leave the phone open. Don't end the call. You just call 911, hit the green button, and just leave the phone line open. These photos here, a couple of these photos are from Elkhorn Community College. I think it's in Oregon. August 2015, they had an active shooter incident. Okay, so they are doing exactly what we were just talking about, restricting the movement of this door return. Okay, these guys here. This room went above and beyond. Right? So you see the rope going up, right? And they barricade it. They have a chair here. The door mechanism is probably a handle. So the chair leg is inside the door handle, right? These rooms are locked. Even though you don't have a key, these doors are pretty much secure. An active shooter is not going to spend an extraordinary amount of time trying to break your door down, when there are other doors, other offices, other places in that grocery store that there are people, that there might be people, okay? So all we want is to secure it as best as possible. Virginia Tech, for example, one student in their room, it was not a big lecture hall, but those doors open in, all this one kid did was lay down in front of that door and put his feet up against the door. Saved his classroom. He saved his classroom. Okay? In fact, one of the shooters or somebody, they don't know they don't know for sure if it was a shooter or not, but they felt the door jiggle. Somebody tried to get in. Right? But that kid, just by laying down, putting his feet up against the door, he saved his classmates. So if you find yourself encountering that shooter, okay, we want to act aggressively. Okay? You're gonna go home. You're gonna see your family. You're gonna see your loved ones. Whoever you go home tonight to see, you're gonna see them. Okay? You gotta act aggressively, confident. Okay? Once you decide to act, act. Okay? A lot of times people ask me, hey, what if I severely injure or kill the guy? Okay? But isn't that guy trying to do the same to you? Right? So there is no rules here. Whatever you can pick up and throw, throw. How many guys are Hydro Flask today? Those things are huge and heavy, right? You get a good shot, winner, winner. Okay? But commit to your actions. Do what you need to do to survive. Okay? How many of you, I mean, you guys all just graduated high school, I'm pretty sure, right? How many of you guys did lockdown drills? Right? What was it? Turn the lights off, don't say anything, be as quiet as possible, hide in your desk, right? Okay? No disrespect to your local school districts or even our own local school districts, but now that is not the best of ideas. Okay? The shooter comes in, you guys are just sitting ducks. Okay? You gotta do something to distract that shooter. And what you're trying to do is interrupt that shooter's OODA loop. It stands for observe, orient, decide, act. Okay? Yes, the shooter can come in and just spray and pray, just shoot randomly, okay? But if they're trying to hit things, trying to hit people, they need to aim. Okay? So all you need to do is interrupt that shooter's ability to aim accurately. Yes, you could still get hit, you could still get shot, but instead of taking hits in center mass, in your chest, which is called center mass, which is you're not going to survive, okay, generally speaking, is always fatal, okay, maybe you take one in the shoulder. That's a survivable injury, okay, you can wait for rescuers for that, okay. Little flinch could be enough, right? Play a video here. Okay, so we're going to show you the OODA loop in action and how it can be used to save your life should you find yourself in an active shooter situation. So, if you're not going to do anything, shooter comes into the space, you're not doing anything. 3 shots, center mass, you're not going to survive. Okay? Highly unlikely. Okay? But this time, we're going to give some improvised weapons and they are going to use these weapons to defend themselves against me, the shooter. Okay? Here we go. Okay. No? So no, it's as you saw, there is no way I can stand in there, even though I know that it is a soft, cold, happy face stress ball coming out of my face that I'm not going to get hurt by. But I still cannot hang in there long enough to get accurate shots off. So that is how you can use the OODA loop to your advantage should you find yourself in an active shooter situation. Those foam balls still hurt me in the eye, by the way. They had way too much doing that. Too much fun doing that. Okay, so we talk about 911, okay, a lot. Okay, call 911, call 911. Okay, the most important piece of information you can give that 911 dispatcher is your location. Where are you? Okay, so when you go to school, as you guys get more familiar with your buildings, right, at least know the name of the building you're in, okay, and the room number. Okay, right now you're in building 150. Okay, we'll just say room 150. We get a couple hundred of those. Okay, try to get familiar. You guys go shopping, you guys walk, you guys explore the island, do things, you have fun, enjoy Hawaii. But make sure we know where we're at in case somebody shot. Maybe not even active shooter. Maybe there's a traffic accident outside. Oh, there's a traffic accident, okay, but where you at? Where were you? I don't know. That one out. Okay? Now the dispatcher is gonna ask you many more questions, okay? Number of shooters, physical descriptions, how many weapons, all that kind of stuff, okay? If you don't know, it is okay to tell that dispatcher, I don't know. All I know is I'm running away from Villager 150 and there's gunfire behind me, okay? It's okay. Tell this guy, I don't know. But if you have information, please provide it, but if you don't know, you don't know. Okay? So, first responders officer has arrived to the area. Okay, now the island of Oahu, you're gonna see a lot of Honolulu Police Department. Okay, those are like the primary responders for the island. Okay, but again, they're not gonna get here in time. Okay? But you're gonna see a mix. Okay, and by what I mean by a mix, you're gonna see different uniforms. Okay? So this photo right here, these two officers, they're all of these guys are Honolulu police officers, okay? The difference between the two is these two officers here, they aren't the ones who are riding in the patrol cars answering those 911 calls for service, okay? Those are the guys who are out there day to day chasing that radio, okay? These folks here are the plain clothes guys. They're members of the crime reduction unit, okay? They dress like how some of you guys are dressed now, okay? Plain clothes. Some of them stick out like a sore thumb, even though they're trying to blend in. Okay, but others are very good. It's very hard to tell they are that. But if something happens like this, every agency is going to send people, is going to send help to us. Okay, the county, the state, the federal government, everybody's coming to help. Okay, so don't be surprised you see somebody, t-shirt, board shorts, and shoes with a vest on that says police and a badge and rifle, running around campus or running around the store where you just came out of. Okay. They're also going to be shouting commands at you and telling you to do things, okay? That's another reason why we want to stay calm, so we can follow those instructions. These officers are responding to a shots fired, possible active shooter call. They have no idea who's who when they get on scene, okay? So they're going to be shouting commands at you, and if you're making quick movements or you're not listening to commands, those officers could deem you as a threat and address you that way. Okay, so hands up, nice and high. Don't have your cell phone in your hands. Don't have little objects in your hands. Okay? Right? They don't know who you are. Okay? As they approach you, they may give you a quick pat down and send you on your way. Okay? If this is happening on campus, okay, the Department of Public Safety is going to be sending out what we call UH Alert. It is a text message-based alert system. You have to sign up for this. Okay, the website is hawaii.edu/alert. Okay, you log in with your UH username and password, and you put in your 10-digit cell phone number, and you put the campus you want to be on. So if you come to Manoa obviously, but you can also take classes on the community colleges as well. So if you're going to do that, click on that community college, and then hit send text. Send text, because if you scroll to the bottom, after you do all this, you scroll to the bottom of the screen, there's two bubbles. Don't send and send. Okay? You gotta click send. I think it's do not by default. So hit send, and you can also send yourself a test message to see if it's working. Okay, so again, it's hawaii.edu/alert. Okay? We're also going to guide our fellow first responders to the appropriate area of campus, also provide medical aid if need be. Okay? Now you're out of the building. You're going to encounter more and more law enforcement, more and more first responders. Okay? They're going to check you a lot more thoroughly. These photos are from UCLA back in June 2016. They had an active shooter call out. Okay, that turned out to be a murder-suicide. That was a domestic-related situation. Okay? But they were treating it as an active shooter until otherwise known. Okay? You're going to be questioned. Okay, I have a friend of a friend who was at Joint Base Pearl Harbor that night. That incident happened, I think, about 2:30. He didn't leave the installation almost 7. Okay, he was being questioned by NCIS, the Naval Criminal Investigative Service. Okay? They're a real agency, they're not just on TV cops. Okay? So, you're going to be questioned. You may not be an eyeball witness to this incident, but maybe a couple of days ago you saw the same guy or something that looks similar kind of lurking around campus or lurking around somewhere. Right? Or maybe you got to the store and you saw this guy in the parking lot or whatever the case is. And you could have critical information that you may not even realize. San Bernardino shooting, that suspect was, those two suspects were able to get in a car and flee. This happened in California. Okay? The initial description of that suspect vehicle was a dark-colored SUV. A dark colored SUV in California, come on. You ain't finding that, okay? However, somebody called in a tip line. Okay, somebody called, either the tip line or 911, but anyway, they called in. The reason why this gentleman, this tipster called is because he saw the SUV, was speeding away, but what caught his attention was the license plate. The license plate was not a California plate. It had mountains on it. And he was able to get a partial plate. So partial plate plus the mount, plus the license plate with the mountains, they figured out what state it was, and they had to give a description. So all this together, they're able to figure out quickly this SUV. But that guy didn't call. Dark SUV in California, come on. Okay? So things to remember, do not call 911 and ask them, or don't call my dispatcher and ask us, hey, when is campus going to reopen? I need to get my backpack. We will send updates to you guys on that situation. Okay? A few years ago, we had an explosion on campus in Post, the building with the blue windows as you come up east-west. Okay? That building was shut down for almost 4 weeks. Okay? There was structural concerns and whatnot. It's all good now, so if you have class today, don't worry about it, it's all fixed. But people were calling us, asking, hey, when is Post going to reopen? Okay, hang on, wait for the emails to come out, we're still figuring out if it's safe to do so. Okay? Now, officers first on scene, they're not going to be here to rescue them, to pick up that student or pick up that person who's outside who's already been shot. They're going to proceed further into the building to find out where this threat is and try to address the threat. Okay? Rescue teams may certainly, or will certainly come in at a certain point. Okay? They'll be knocking on our door. You know, HFD, EMS, police, whatever they identify themselves as, right? How do you trust that that person knocking on the door is what they say they are? Okay, maybe you have UH Alert. Now that some of you have subscribed, I saw some stuff come up. Very good. Okay, maybe that alert says, oh, HFD going door to door to rescue. Okay, you can trust that because that's coming from us, right? But if you still don't trust anything you're being told, okay, you can always call 911 and ask, hey, I'm in Bilger 150, and there's people knocking on my door saying they're the police department or the fire department or whoever they're identifying themselves as, okay? And you can get verification that way. Now, maybe they open our doors here, or you open the doors, and there's a lot more injured people than there are rescuers. They may ask for help, so able-bodied folks, okay? Work together, maybe carry some classmates out. Right? Some of these classrooms, not these big lecture halls, but the more smaller ones, they may have chairs with wheels. You can always put somebody in the chair, and that's now a makeshift wheelchair. Right? Or maybe there's a table like this, without legs, but with wheels on, right? That could be a makeshift gurney. Right? Put somebody on it, just wheel them out. And do what you can. So behavior indicators. Okay, there is no one demographic or profile of an active shooter. Okay, they run the gamut. Okay. However, what we see is that there's common personality traits that show across the board. Okay. And so this list here is what we think is relevant. However, so let's say you're looking at this list and you think to yourself, I know people that can check some of these boxes, right? I'm not saying that they're going to come back tomorrow or some other day and shoot campus. But what I am saying is that you guys should say something. You guys should tell somebody or reach out. If you have a friend that can check some of these boxes, reach out, ask, are they okay? Okay? 81% of school shootings study, at least one person had prior information the shooter was thinking about or planning an attack. And 59% of those shootings, more than one person had prior information. Okay? These people who carry out these crimes are not trained by any means, right? There's no formal training for these people. Okay, so they talk about it. It's called leakage. Okay, they post to social media. Okay, so if you guys see things on social media, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever else you guys use. Okay, you guys see threats to campus or things that are real concerning behavior, by all means call. Report it, because you never know. We could also be tracking this guy already or this person already. Or another agency could have already given us a heads up. Hey, there's a page on social media posting or somebody's commenting on a thread or whatever with some concerning issues. Okay, so give us a call. Okay. So again, UH alert. So UH announce is issued upon any incident covered in the Clery Act that is considered a serious and continuing threat. Okay, so the incident's already happened, and it's over. So eventually, once the semester gets going, you're going to start to get emails from us about moped thefts, bike thefts, burglaries, and such. Okay, those have occurred, they are not ongoing, so they will send out as an email. Okay, the the UH alert, it is issued upon a confirmation of a significant emergency or dangerous situation involving immediate threat to the health or safety of UHM students or employees. Okay, this is happening now. This is an imminent threat thing. So after shooter, maybe there's a fire, right? Every 2 or 3 years, that mountain behind us over there catches fire. Okay, so alerts go out for that. All right, so sign up. Okay, again, it's hawaii.edu/alert. Okay, the reason why we encourage this is because some of you guys do get your email pushed to your cell phones, right? But if it's on a schedule where it's not constant, maybe every 30 minutes, you could be 30 minutes behind the news curve here. Or you could be relying on information you see on social media, which is not 100% accurate. Okay? So UH alerts. So please follow any instructions in these alerts and make sure if it's happening off campus that you're following or you're getting your information from official sources. Just because it's coming from the news organization does not mean that it's accurate. Okay, oftentimes these news organizations, they will start to repost things that they see online, and then they work to verify and whatnot. Okay? So here's this is the website. Okay? We also have the Monroe Guardian, and then if you have any questions or you want, there are other trainings besides this. So we do offer free public trainings for conflict resolution and safety and wellness, and you guys are in this one now, so you're covered. And hopefully sometime soon, we will start to offer the first aid certification again. Okay, that'll cost $70. But right now, it's on hold for various reasons. Okay? Are there any questions or something you guys want to know about the Department of Public Safety? Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Comment.
Yeah.
Just a reminder.
Yeah.
If you have an iPhone, I don't know if it works on the phone, you can click power button 5 times and it'll allow you to just one swipe send an emergency alert or
Yeah.
alert. So you can alert 911 and also your family or whoever.
It works. One of my friends went to a concert, I think it was Sean. Anyway, she didn't realize she pushed her button 5 times. And the next thing she knew, they stopped the concert and they made an announcement over the speaker. Will so-and-so please see the nearest staff member? And there was still police and fire department ambulance waiting for her. Yes?
How many shootings has there been in this state, like so far this year?
I have no idea. You can go to the Honolulu Police Department's website, they do have statistics. On campus, I think there have been 0. Okay, but we do have stats for that kind of stuff. But on the island, so for those, how many international students here? Okay, so some of your countries that you come from are very, very safe, right? To the point where you can leave your door unlocked at night, even though it's now 2022. Okay, don't do that here. Okay, we have crime. We have crime on campus. The #1 crime on campus is theft. Okay, don't leave your stuff unattended. Don't leave things in the open. Okay, we are an open campus. There is no perimeter fencing. Okay, when you guys come to school, now you guys are here, you're gonna see a lot more unique people coming onto campus. Okay, they have every right to be here just like you guys. Okay? We will get calls from time to time from students, staff. Hey, there's a homeless guy in this area. Is he doing anything? No, he's just sitting down. Okay. Unfortunately, we can't do anything about the guy sitting down. Because he has just as much right to be here as you guys. It's a public university. And we have to have a reason to do something. So because brother is homeless. Okay, but yes, to answer your question, this is not your country. This is the United States, Hawaii. Even though it's nice, all palm trees and whatnot, we have crime. Okay. Just watch the news. We have crime. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, in the back. Yeah, you were there.
The oil loop,
Yeah.
in the video, you actually but would that same trick or could this trick be applicable if that shooter were saying
It doesn't matter. All you're trying to do is interrupt the loop. Okay, so no matter what he's shooting, so whether it be a handgun or a semi-automatic rifle, he's asking, right, will the OODA loop work? Yes. All you're doing is you're interrupting the person's ability to accurately aim at things, at people. Okay, give yourself a chance. Okay? Any other questions? Yes, in the middle.
Does the university have the Alice training, I don't know if
Yes.
it's in here, but does the university have anything, like does it have emergency ladders on upper floors or
No.
sleeves to lock the doors, anything else? No.
That's why you guys come and do this training and learn some like this. You guys can save your own classrooms. Any other questions? Alrighty, well, have fun the rest of NSO, and I think Title IX guys are next in here, so if you guys don't want to leave the air conditioning. Oh, rights and responsibilities, if you guys don't want to leave, enjoy the air conditioning, stay with these guys. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.